Hello, everyone.
Hi, everybody.
We are live.
I don't see any comments.
No comments yet. No one in the chat so far, but we are live. I believe the tweet and Facebook post has gone out. Let me double check that. Yes, there's the tweet.
Yep, just saw it.
And let's check Facebook. We're just going to talk amongst ourselves while we wait for everyone to join.
What have you been doing today? Thanks.
And there's Facebook. A lot of nothing, really.
Yeah.
A lot of nothing. We're just preparing to travel to Virginia this next Sunday. So.
Oh, that'll be fun.
Yeah.
There's
Kevly33. Hello to you.
Hey, everybody.
Ben, Analis.
I got a bargain AAA game that I'll talk about in the intro. Yeah, $10 for like the game of the year 2018. So,
nice.
Yeah, dude. So I've been playing that. I'll talk about it more. Yeah. Playing with the pup. He has grown so much in like the past week. He's like starting to get wrinkles in his face now.
Oh boy.
He's got like a really nice wrinkle developing up above his nose.
Mm-hmm.
He's still really bad though.
Hello, Jared and Giovanni.
What's up, everybody? Thanks for coming.
Yeah. Jazz, Fernando. Hello.
I also watched Little Shop for the first time.
Wait, Little Shop of Horrors for the first time?
Yeah.
It's been out since I was born. The year I was born. What took so long?
I don't know, but it was really charming. And then I found out that there was an alternate ending, and Josh and I looked it up and watched it, and we kind of like that one more.
The alternate ending is the best ending because that's the ending that the Broadway show has.
And I just love how, well, Frank Oz directed it, which I didn't know, and how I just want to imagine the pitch meeting where he's like, and then we're going to have giant model Audrey 2s walking through a model street, tearing stuff up, setting things on fire, eating people. I just wish I could have been in that pitch meeting because it is absolutely ridiculous and fantastic.
Yeah, I love that ending. I love the Broadway version. It's such a good show. Of course,
and Steve Martin. Oh my God, people aren't funny like that anymore.
Oh, Rick Moranis?
No, Steve Martin.
Oh no, yeah, Steve Martin. Yeah, as Orange Crivello DDS.
He's crazy. I couldn't believe it. He was so in. He was so all in, and it was incredible. And Rick Moranis was just a peach. He was so cute. I just wanted to squeeze him. But it was so good. And then
Brian heard that too.
Yeah, and I was just about to get to that. So people are looking at Taron Egerton for Seymour, Scarlett Johansson for Audrey, and
everything.
Yeah, is it because she's blonde and like pretty? She can't really sing.
Do we know she can sing?
She sang in the Jungle Book movie.
Oh yeah, I never saw that.
I didn't either. But the casting that I'm most interested in is Chris Evans as the dentist.
He's always wanted to do a musical, and I think I could see him hamming it up so well.
Because I think he would be perfect for it just based on his performance in Knives Out, that like a-hole character actor where he's like so unbearable, but he like goes all in for the bit. I think he'd be perfect for it.
Like I would be fine with the reboot. Of course, it's not going to negate the original. The original is still a classic. It's one of my favorite films. But if they're going to do a reboot, I really hope that they stick with the puppet aspect of Audrey 2. Don't make it all CGI. I mean, maybe do CGI toward the end when it gets big and that kind of thing, but as much as you can, keep it as a puppet, because that really what brings it to life.
I hope they do the original ending too.
Yes,
because it's outrageous. It's so good.
Oh yeah, Billy Porter may voice Audrey too.
I love that. I love that idea.
I like that too.
He's fabulous. But yeah, I wanted to tell you that I watched it because I know it's so important to you. And
Yeah.
it's on HBO Max, which has a lot of gems. I gotta say, it is a treasure trove of content.
I might have to think about picking it up.
They have all the Studio Ghibli movies, first of all. The only place you can stream all of them. And then they have, like, we watch Mrs. Doubtfire. They have all the classic, like, Warner movies, like Casablanca and all that stuff on there, too. They have a ton of samurai cinema that Josh and I are going to be diving into because a new game called Ghost of Tsushima comes out next month. And we wanted to be really educated on the genre because that's what the game's inspired by. But there's like tons and tons of classic movies on there. It's not just like your standard streaming fodder.
I feel like, as much as I'm hearing about HBO Max, I feel like it's gotten a lot of good reviews with its content, and that, you know, if you're looking for things outside of like Netflix and Hulu, Disney Plus and HBO Max would be the two to sign up for.
Yeah, and I would even go so far as to say that the only thing I don't like about HBO Max is that they're not making a deal with Amazon or Roku to have a streaming app on those platforms, at least not right now.
Huh.
Yeah, so we have it on our PlayStation 4, and we have to turn on the PlayStation and use the controller to use HBO Max, which is kind of annoying. Yeah, it's just something about money, you know?
Yeah.
But
we're not even recording. We're just kind of chit-chatting here.
Letting people flood in.
We should start recording, guys. So as always, we are going to be recording this week's episode of the podcast. It'll be out audio wise tomorrow. We're just going to chit chat between Brittany and I, and every now and then I'll pull in some comments from the chat here, but we're primarily just going to stick to the two of us. And then we'll take your questions toward the end of the podcast, and especially during our main attraction this week, because it's going to be about my visit to Universal when it reopened. So we're going to take questions from Brittany, questions from the chat. So keep your questions until then, and I'll answer them. All right. So let's go ahead and get started here. This is episode number 38 of the podcast. So we are going to start here in 3, 2. Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode number 38 of the Attractions Podcast. I'm Banks.
And I'm Brittany.
And we're here to give you the rundown of the latest happenings from attractionsmagazine.com over the past week and in life in general. And, of course, if you are listening to the audio version, don't forget we do live stream the recording of this podcast every Sunday at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We've got people in our chat. They're going to ask questions. We're going to talk to them. We're going to talk to Brittany, and we're just going to have a fun day today.
I'm excited. There's so much to talk about.
There is a lot to talk about. It feels like the next month there's going to be a lot to talk about with all these reopenings.
Hey, that's better than our sad podcast where everything is closed.
The mood has gotten a lot better, at least in the theme park aspect.
Yeah.
Again, you know, I talked about this last week, but I want to reiterate this week our love out there to everyone who is showcasing their First Amendment rights and protesting and taking to the streets around the country and around the world too. Please be safe, and you know, you're doing a good fight. We appreciate y'all.
We do. Our thoughts are with you. I'm posting resources like every day on Instagram because I got a puppy at home, so I can't be out in the streets, but I would. And just do your part, however you can.
Exactly. All right, so we're going to get started. What's going on with you, Brittany, out there in that Austin life?
Well, besides taking care of the pup, like I said before we started recording, I managed to get a AAA game for $10 at Best Buy.
Which game is this?
God of War.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, dude.
I heard Mike and Dee Dee talking good things about that game.
They did, and I remember it was Jonathan was there. It was Jonathan, Mike, Dee Dee, and I think you were there too, and me. Maybe you weren't there, but I remember Jonathan being there, and they were all like, "Yeah, you should play it," and I wanted to, and I just never got around to it. And then I had pre-ordered The Outer Worlds for Switch, which I ended up canceling. But I saw God of War was $10, so I was like, I'll pick that up, sure.
Yeah.
It is so good. It is incredible. I've been playing it, and Josh has been watching me, and it's like it feels like a really well-paced movie or TV series, and I just can't put it down. I played for like 8 hours between this morning to this afternoon when I quit, and it just sucks you in. And we found out that the score is written by Bear McCreary, who's one of Josh's favorites. He did Black Sails,
he
and
did
Walking
Agents of
Dead
S.H.I.E.L.D. too.
Yeah, he did the whole score for that game, and oh my god, it's incredible.
Very nice.
But I've been super enjoying that. That's what I've been playing lately. Trying to get through all of these like quintessential PS4 titles before the generation ends, and then we move on. So
yeah. I've been doing a lot of video games too myself. Haven't played a lot of Animal Crossing lately, but I've been kind of doing a replay of the Resident Evil games. I got 4, 5, and 6 for my Switch, and I'm currently on the 3rd of 4 missions on 6 right now. Which, you know, I bought 4, 5, and 6 about a week ago. And then Brittany messaged me this week saying, "Hey, they just put them on sale," and I just start cursing myself, being like, "Of course, as soon as I buy them, they put them on sale."
I didn't realize you had bought all of them because when you get online, I can see what you're playing, and I'd only seen you play 4, so I was like, "Oh, this is great! He'll be able to get the other ones for like $30," and he just already bought them all.
Well, luckily I haven't bought 0 or 1 yet, so I'm probably going to take the sale time to get those. But yeah.
Don't get Outer Worlds for Switch. Don't do it. I don't know if you know that. Yeah. It's by Obsidian, the team that did Fallout New Vegas, or they created Fallout. And they split from the team and they made their own thing. It's like space RPG where space has been like colonized and like merchandised, and now it's super capitalist, but you're like in space and stuff. I wanted to play it. Came out last year for PlayStation 4 and Xbox 360 and PC, and it looked awesome, but they announced that they were doing a Switch port, and I was like, okay, I'll just wait for the Switch port. I had it pre-ordered. Thursday they released footage from review channels and stuff that had gotten early copies. It looks like garbage. Like straight up 480p garbage. The textures are super low res. You'll see stuff load in, like enemies will load in front of you where they weren't before, and they'll like surprise attack. It's so bad. I encourage you to look it up, but I almost wasted $60 on it, and I canceled it as soon as I saw those videos come out. I was so mad because I waited a whole year to play it just because I wanted to play it on handheld, but
so yeah, other than video games, just, you know, it's starting to get busy, especially here in Orlando with everything reopening. So I've been out a lot this past week, and we're gonna pause for 1 second. Mark the time code here, 13 minutes. Welcome everyone to the live recording. Sometimes things happen and we're going to cut this out in the audio version. That's why we write the time codes down. My son's he's not happy right now, so he was crying in the background. So just in case that was being picked up, I just wanted to pause for 1 second.
Sure.
It's his bedtime. Let me just make sure that, you know, Sydney's doing an amazing job keeping up with the kids while we record, so I appreciate her. All right. It sounds like he went upstairs, so there we go. All right. Sorry about that, everyone. All right. So 13 minutes, 13. Okay. I'll start with what I was talking about. Yeah. So other than just playing video games, it's very busy now here in Orlando. Things are starting to reopen, so I've been out and about a lot more often than usual. And we're going to talk about my Universal trip later on in the show for the main attraction. But it's nice to kind of, you know, safely get out again.
Yeah, I've been watching from a distance, and it's I've really been interested in Theron's reports as he goes to each park, because I get to edit them and see his like firsthand account. And Josh and I have also been tuning into like random live streams where people are at the parks just to kind of pretend like we're there and see it for ourselves. And a lot less people are there than I expected.
Yeah, it was, and you know, briefly talking about my trip, because I went on the first day they were doing annual pass previews for the reopening. This was before the general public came in, and I thought it was a normally busy day. It was all annual pass holders. You it was not crowded, but it felt like a normal busy day, and everyone was keeping their distance. And I'll talk about that later. But then I saw the photos from the first regular reopening day when anyone could go, and I was surprised. It looked like a lot less people were there than annual pass holder day, which was really surprising to me.
Yeah, you would think that they would try to space everything out, but I guess if you get like a reserved time, you're more likely to go then than the crowds. Maybe it was like a Galaxy's Edge situation where people are like, it's probably going to be busy. I'm not going to go.
Yeah, that might be it too. I'm actually going tomorrow, or if you're listening to this on Monday, I'm going today on June. Is it June or July? It's June.
June.
My time is
time is nothing.
June 8th, I'm going back to go pick up the new pass holder magnet. So I'll be interested to see how the crowds are, especially if a lot of annual pass holders are going to try to get there to get the magnet before they sell out. That'll be interesting to see. So we'll see what the crowd. I'll post about that on our social medias, attractions, Twitter mainly, so people can follow that. Other than that, Brittany mentioned Theron's reports. You can go over to attractionsmagazine.com to see his reports about wearing a mask at Universal all day and his thoughts on that. It has gotten a lot of feedback. I don't think we've had so many comments on a post in a long time.
Matt just texted us and said that the reach on that article has hit almost 1 million on Facebook.
Wow.
So.
Yeah. I mean, the masks is a very, very hot topic these days about, the having to wear them or not wear them. If you're being required to wear one, people don't like being told they have to wear one. It's a whole thing. It is a whole thing.
It's suddenly turned super political, and the act of saying it's required is like a political thing. And
yeah, I think we got accused of like being paid by Universal to say good things. Like Theron went on his own dime. Theron bought an annual pass. Like, we were not invited by Universal. They did not tell us to write nice things. This is his opinion piece.
Yep.
But people are going to believe what they want to believe.
Yep. If we're getting paid, I think you would know.
No, if they're paying us, we will tell you straight up.
Yeah.
They are, but they aren't. No parks that I've been to have told me to come or paid me to come.
Yeah.
So yeah, we'll talk about Universal later on in the show. Speaking of live streams, this Wednesday, Early Night Live will be our first episode out and about again after everything. 11 weeks of at-home episodes. This week, we're figuring out if we're going to either go to Springs or Universal. So we're going to get out this week. So tune in Wednesday at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time over at youtube.com/attractionsmagazine to see where we end up going.
I'm excited to see where you guys end up.
I am too. Like I said, Disney Springs or Universal. You'll find out on Wednesday. Also, I have to talk about this, and I apologize if things get emotional. It's important to me. If you guys have watched the attraction show this past episode, or you've seen my social media posts, we have made the decision to put the show to an end this week. This week will be the final episode, at least for the rest of the year. We may be trying to bring it back in 2021, but it will be completely different. Like, the show as you know it, the format it is in now, is ending this Thursday. In the midst of editing a highlight reel, highlighting the past 10 years of the show. And it's a lot to go through, but it's been so much fun going through all this old footage and reliving old memories with friends and good times. And it's the show's my baby. Like I've been part of the show on really since the very beginning. The first episode features a video that I put together. The fan video of the week was my video. And I took over the show at episode 74, and 402 episodes later, I'm still working on the show weekly. And now it's coming to an end, and it's bittersweet, but I'm excited for the future. I'm excited for the new creative opportunities that we're going to have here at Attractions Magazine. No more weekly shows, but a lot of the aspects of the show that you know and love will continue on, especially right here with the podcast. We're going to be talking news every week, like News in the Queue. The segments that we do for the show, instead of holding them for a week and putting them out on Thursdays, we're going to immediately upload them. You'll still see hosted segments and fun things like that. You're just going to get them immediately. And plus, we're going to do more content for our subscribers. So if you're subscribed to us at attractionsmagazine.com, Club VIP level, I'll now have more time to do special videos for you guys without the show. So it's
okay.
Yeah. Brittany, please fill in before I start.
Yes. For the future, if you want your news given to you from the attraction space, you'll get it here and on the website every day.
Yes.
And not this every day, but the website every day. If we did this every day, I feel like we would be on for 15 minutes and then that would be it. But you're still going to get your news. You're still going to get your fun. You still get the hosted content and you'll get it faster than ever. And Banks is still going to be doing his thing.
Yes, I will still be here. I'll still be on ENL. And I'll still be making videos daily for the YouTube channel. Like nothing much is really changing. It's just spreading out. The show itself is, yes, it's a very professionally produced program with our hosts and the news and the sponsors and then our segments. But basically the only thing you're going to be missing are the hosted stuff with Quinn and Jesse. That's it. News you're going to find right here on the podcast. Segments we're going to put up by themselves. So really you're not going to miss a lot with the show. You're still going to get aspects of the show in other venues here at Attractions Magazine. So don't be too sad. I'm sad, but I'm not sad. It's a weird feeling. Like I am emotional about it. Every time I start editing the highlight video I'm doing, I start crying. But it's one of those things. It's like, what's that saying? There's a really great saying, and they said it at the ending of the Light Summer's action. Don't be sad that something is over. Be grateful that it happened.
Yeah.
And we're still going to have some, I know I see people in our chat here on the live stream saying how much they're sad that the show is ending. Yes, it's sad, but we're still going to have amazing content for you guys. That is never going away. Never going away.
Nope.
So yes, catch it this Thursday, the final episode of the show for the time being. We're going to call it the season finale of the attraction show. A new season will debut some point in 2021 once things get back to a more normal basis. I'm sure if you've been watching the show the past few weeks, we've had show flashbacks. We're just re-airing old segments again. We're out of content, guys. There's not a lot going on right now, and it's going to be like that for a while. So we're just going to put the show on hold and then reformat it, retool it, and give you guys something better than ever.
Can't wait to see what happens.
Yes. All right. Well, with all the emotional stuff out of the way, let's go ahead and jump right into the news in the queue.
This one's pretty self-explanatory, but it is important, so I wanted to include it. The Walt Disney Company pledged $5 million last week to support nonprofit organizations that advance social justice, starting with a $2 million donation to the NAACP, which is huge and a lot of money. I kept up with all the various donations on my Twitter feed as it was happening. I think Lego was the only company that came close to Disney's contribution.
Yeah.
And what Lego did was crazy.
Yeah. It's great to see.
Yeah. And it was really kind of expected, but unexpected at the same time, because Disney's statement kind of came late after. I think it came on like Friday or Saturday of the week prior. But it was good to see that solidarity and that move from Disney. And they're also, if you're listening and you're a cast member, they are matching your donations right now through the employee gift matching program. So you can go on the hub and find that specific page. You can go through the matching organizations, make a donation, and then you submit your proof or whatever, and then Disney will match your donation to that organization, which I think is cool. I mean, not a lot of companies do that, so take advantage of it if you can.
Yes, definitely. And check our website and our socials where we post resources for you guys if you're looking to donate anywhere. It's definitely great causes out there to donate to. So do what you can, donate what you can. Every little bit helps.
Yes. Next up, the NBA board has set a plan in motion to restart the 2019-2020 basketball season.
Yes.
And they have voted to restart the season at Walt Disney World Resort at ESPN Wide World Sports Complex. So this plan would have 22 teams practicing, playing, and staying at the resort. It would have a tentative start date for Friday, July 31st, but this is one of many steps, according to the NBA, that they will have to take in order to restart the season. So it is happening, but also not totally finalized yet.
I feel like every little bit of news I hear about this, it's not final, but it's
happening. And in the article, I included a couple of tweets from SportsCenter and ESPN, both owned by Disney. And they did like little fan edits for the NBA with Disney, like the castle opening for the most recent Disney films and stuff. So like it's happening. It's just not like the ink isn't dry yet, so to speak.
There was one photo I saw of they put like photoshopped NBA players riding Splash Mountain.
What?
And did you not see this?
No.
Yeah, so like there was a photo. I can't remember which Twitter account tweeted it, but they photoshopped a bunch of NBA players, like photos of them on, like screaming or something, and they photoshopped them riding the Splash Mountain log. But the thing is, the Disney nerd in me came out against it because they were using Disneyland's Splash Mountain log, which I'm like, they're coming to Florida. That's the wrong Splash Mountain.
What I wrote up is based on a press release that NBA released via their PR team. But there is some information out there that they will not be allowed to visit the parks while they're staying, and that they will allegedly be staying at Coronado Springs.
I've heard that it may be Coronado and maybe one other.
Caribbean Beach, maybe.
I've also heard Animal Kingdom Lodge. John House.
Well, they haven't said officially yet, but per the agreement with Disney, the teams would have to practice at ESPN, play their games at ESPN to no audiences, and stay on property for the rest of the season.
Yeah, it would suck to be like at the hotel and not get to go ride the rides.
I'd be mad. I'd feel like a bubble boy. Like, only bring me out to play ball, and then I go back to my room.
I kind of hope that when they come down, they do allow media to come out there and cover it, and separate us, and because I would like to go and see this. Yeah,
I mean, this could lead to a future thing where they play like big games at ESPN. I mean, you never know.
I'm sure there's lots of Mickey and Minnie plushes they can just fill the whole stadium out with.
I hope they do that. I saw a picture on Twitter of a baseball game in Japan where they had filled all the seats with plushes. Yes, do that. Get the big Mickey plushes, like the huge ones that are the size of a toddler. Mm-hmm. Get those and fill those seats with them.
There you go. Well, I'm not a basketball person, but it's cool that they're able to do that here in Orlando because we got the space for it.
Yeah. All right. Next up, Busch Gardens Tampa Bay is reopening to guests on June 11th.
Yes.
So the park presented its reopening plan, which was approved by Hillsborough County and the Tampa Mayor Jane Castor before heading to the state, where it received final approval. The park will reopen on Wednesday, June 10th. That's this coming Wednesday for an Employee Appreciation Day, and then open to all guests on June 11th, the same day as SeaWorld Orlando.
Yeah.
Now, as for their rules, they're basically the same as SeaWorld Orlando. All guests and employees, guests aged 2 and up, will have to wear a face mask. Temperature checks will be required for guests and employees. Social distancing will be promoted throughout the parks. And something new that's kind of developed over the past week, SeaWorld and its parks, so Busch Gardens, SeaWorld Orlando, Discovery Cove, Aquatica Orlando, and Adventure Island, they're all going to have a reservation system, which leads into the next thing. So this was not presented during SeaWorld's big plan that I watched the meeting for and reported on for us a couple weeks ago. They did not have any kind of inclination as to what capacity they were going to lower the park to, or if they were going to make guest by date based tickets or anything like that. And this past week, they posted on their website that guests will have to pre-schedule their trip using a new online reservation system, so that SeaWorld and its parks can help manage capacity and physical distancing guidelines. So all guests with regular day tickets, fun cards, or annual passes will have to make a reservation prior to their visit, and they'll have to bring their reservation e-ticket along with their original ticket, fun card, or annual pass with them to the gate to enter.
Yeah, it's interesting that SeaWorld and Busch Gardens are doing that, because not even Universal was doing a advanced reservation for the guests, and it seems like they didn't really need to do it. So Disney, I can understand, because Disney's the big daddy. 4 parks, lots of people that are going to come in. But yeah, it's interesting to see that the SeaWorld parks are going to do this.
Yeah, it was totally unexpected. It wasn't a part of their original plan, so I wonder if this was kind of decided later, or if they just didn't have it ready in time to present it. If you're interested, you're probably going to be too late for it by the time you hear this, but reservations will open to guests tomorrow. So today, when you're listening to this, June 8th at 10 a.m. Eastern at SeaWorld.com/Orlando/reservation if you're going to SeaWorld Orlando. And you just change the URL for whatever park you're visiting.
I'm not like jumping at the chance to go to SeaWorld just yet. I'm not going to go in the opening day. I think we're going to have Theron going for us to cover it. I'm just going to wait it out for a little bit. I have no desire to get there ASAP. So I'll just be interested to see how things go.
Yeah. I have no idea what the interface is going to look like, or if they're going to have like overloaded servers and then you won't be able to get a spot. Because I know Universal had that issue when they had the preview days. It was so difficult for you to get a day. I don't know about you specifically. I know Matt had problems, and
I did have a few problems. Yes.
Yeah. But
I got it. I ended up getting it.
Yeah. So we will see how it goes, or if they even need it.
Yeah. I'm heading up to Virginia next week, and I don't think that they've announced any potential reopenings for Busch Gardens and Williamsburg. It's probably because, the Virginia may not be in a phased reopening like Florida is. So who knows when those parks will open back up. But I'm excited to see how people enjoy the parks at SeaWorld and Busch Gardens. Iron Gwazi and Icebreaker are not going to be opening with the initial reopening. They haven't announced an opening date for those coasters yet, but they're both built and ready to go. So we'll see, probably very soon, we'll see some opening dates revealed.
I hope so, because I want to see some rad footage.
Especially the Iron Gwazi. I need that POV.
I need to see games. I want like a dual POV. Like I want the forward facing, and then I want to watch the person riding it get their faces torn off.
Oh, RMC coasters. They'll do that to you. I
need to see it. Do that for me. All right, next up. This one's a doozy, and I worked on this last night, Saturday night. And there's a lot. So Disney released some new resort, hotel, and dining information ahead of their reopening. So not only did they cancel all fast passes and dining reservations, but now they're kind of changing up everything else too. So on June 22nd, select Disney Deluxe Villa Resorts and Disney's Fort Wilderness Resort and Campground will reopen to guests, but these resorts include Bay Lake Tower at Disney's Contemporary Resort, Boulder Ridge Villas at Disney's Wilderness Lodge, Copper Creek Villas and Cabins at Disney's Wilderness Lodge, Disney's Animal Kingdom Villas at Kidani Village, Disney's Beach Club Villas, Disney's Boardwalk Villas, Disney's Old Key West Resort, Disney's Polynesian Villas and Bungalows, Disney's Riviera Resort, Disney's Saratoga Springs Resort, and the villas at Disney's Grand Floridian Resort. Now, the only one I didn't mention was Jambo House. That one did not have a reopening date. It was not included in that group.
Which I think that's part of the rumors that the NBA may take up Jambo House.
Yeah.
Because Kidani is the DVC and Jambo House is the just regular resort. So that's kind of fueling the rumors that some of the NBA teams may be staying there.
Yeah. Here's some more info for you. So guests who are under isolation or quarantine orders. So if you have recently contracted COVID-19, you must not enter Walt Disney World Resort. You will not be granted entry. In order to visit a Disney Resort hotel, if you are healthy enough to visit, you'll have to either have a confirmed room reservation, so an overnight stay confirmed, or a confirmed dining reservation if you are not staying overnight. That is the only way you're going to get into these hotels. And keep in mind, a hotel reservation does not guarantee you theme park access. You also have to have your park reservation and your park ticket in order to get to the parks.
Yeah, that's the interesting part of this whole thing. And Jeffrey in our live chat mentioned it too. Shocked that resort guests are not being guaranteed entry into the parks. And rumors right now is they may not even have park hopping available.
I just saw that today.
One park a day. That's just a rumor, but that would be interesting as well.
Yeah. You'll still get complimentary transportation, and those traveling to and from Orlando International Airport will get to utilize Disney's Magical Express. Resort transportation around property, though, will be limited in order to promote physical distancing, and the minivan service will not be operating. So you're on the buses.
It's definitely a phased reopening. You're going to keep hearing that phrase, phased reopening. Not everything's going to open up all at once, and they're going to be like, "Hey, come on back." They're going to take it slow, and that's exactly what they need to do.
Yep. As for housekeeping, the tools that they use and your floors will be steam cleaned and vacuumed in between guests. And your extra items like your linens and your towels and things like that will be wrapped in single-use packaging to keep them clean. And your pillows will be double cased as well. Light cleaning will take place for regular guests every other day, but you can decline that service. And DVC members will get housekeeping on their 4th and 8th day visits. But you can decline that as well if you don't want people to come clean your room.
Yeah.
Resort services, they've gotten rid of a lot. Bell services are not going to escort you to your room anymore, but they'll take your luggage and deliver it to your room. Club level is unavailable. Deliveries will only be made like room service when you're in your room. So good luck with that.
Yeah.
In-room celebrations will not be available. Dry clean and valet laundry will be unavailable, but self-laundry will still be offered. Shipping services, so front of the park, like when you go buy something in the parks and you do the package pickup and they deliver it to your room, that's not going to be available.
Wow.
Resort airline check-in service may be temporarily unavailable. So the jury is still out on if that's going to be offered.
So if you're looking to buy one of those like really nice crystal figurines on Main Street, you may want to wait until you're leaving the park to get that.
For amenities and recreation at the resorts, there are a lot of changes there as well. So for dining, there are not currently new dining reservations available. So if you don't have dining reservations already, you can't make any new ones. Character dining obviously is not going to be offered during this initial reopening period, but a modified character dining experience is going to be available at Topolino's Terrace at Disney's Riviera Resort. Which I thought was interesting because is that like Shanghai Disneyland's character dinner experience where they had the characters walk through and wave and then they leave? It
might be. That restaurant does have a lot of room, and already like the characters come out and just kind of walk around, so that they may just do that.
Yeah. Dinner shows like Spirit of Aloha will not be offered as well. Feature pools will operate with reduced hours, and leisure pools will be open 24 hours a day. Select pools will be closed. Fitness centers and sport courts will open according to state and county reservations and may have reduced hours and capacity. There are no instructor-led fitness classes. Here's an interesting one for the Funko heads out there. New product launches and limited edition merchandise will not be available for in-person purchases at Walt Disney World Resort until further notice. Guests are encouraged to find those items instead on shopdisney.com.
Good luck. You're never going to get one then.
And I find this so interesting because they literally just launched that new Tiki Room themed mini collection right when Disney Springs reopened. And I was like, is this really the best time?
Yeah.
So if there are any Funko Pops coming out that you want, I hope you know what you're doing on Shop Disney because you probably won't get it.
I've given up on Funko Pops.
Pin trading with cast members will no longer be offered via lanyard and will instead be offered through pin boards at select locations only. So if you're a pin trader, you'll be hunting for those pin boards, and because cast members won't be wearing their pin lanyards for the time being.
Adds a little more to the pin hunt there.
Yep. Here's what's temporarily unavailable at the resorts. It's a long list. Arcades, campfires, character experiences, dog parks, the electrical water pageant, marina rentals, pin trading, playgrounds, spas, salons, and Bibbidi Bobbidi Boutique. Notice the Pirates League wasn't mentioned because it's closed. Fireworks, voyages, and tasting cruises, including the Pirates and Pals Firework Voyage. Fun runs, the Wonderland Tea Party offering a 1900 park fair, hula lessons, in-room childcare services, which I didn't know was a thing, mermaid school, special classes and programs, including culinary, cultural, and animal programs.
Yeah, the electrical water pageant, at first when I heard that, it worried me about that not coming back. But then I saw someone on Twitter mention, and this is a good point, maybe the reason why they're not bringing that back immediately is because they are in the process of finishing the new bridge and pathway from Grand Floridian, and they can't get the barges out from there at the moment. So maybe once that bridge is finished and that bridge is going to be able to open and close, then they'll start bringing that electrical water pageant back.
I think it's also a grouping hazard too, because you'll get people kind of like clustering in the monorail entrance from Magic Kingdom to watch it and everything, and that's not really promoting social distancing.
True.
New features that they're adding to the My Disney Experience app, though. Guests can check in for their hotel reservation in advance online through the My Disney Experience app or on the Disney website. When your room is ready, you'll get a notification where you can use your Magic Band or the digital key feature on the app to enter your room. And on your scheduled checkout day, you'll automatically be checked out. You won't have to do anything unless you charge too much to your room, and then you'll have to go take care of it. So you'll get that online check-in and automatic checkout set up completely for you, so you don't have to worry about it. And then starting June 22nd, you can chat with a cast member that works at your resort through a new feature on the My Disney Experience app to answer any questions you have, so you don't have to unnecessarily stand in lines at front desk or go to the lobby.
There's a lot of info about the resort stuff. If you want to read this whole list with us, go to attractionsmagazine.com because it's detailed and you're going to need to know all this if you're planning to stay.
Yeah. So no resort hopping, no, I'm just going to go and hang out. Can't do that. Not anymore.
Yeah.
At least not for the time being.
Catching up in the chat for a second here, Jeffrey had a good question about the pin boards with the pin trading. I don't think the pin boards are going to be for people to touch. They're probably going to be behind the counters, and only the cast members will be able to pull the pins off. You just point and say, I want that one. Yeah.
And then they'll probably have gloves like PPE nearby, or they will immediately sanitize it after it's been touched. Something like that.
And did you mention Magical Express, correct?
Yes, Magical Express is still being offered.
There you go. Just minivans are not.
Minivans are the only thing transportation-wise that they've taken away so far.
And they haven't mentioned anything about the Skyliner yet.
No, and I'm waiting.
Yeah, it'll probably be just one party per bucket.
That's about all they can do, I think. I've been waiting for them to say something because I'm like, what about the Skyliner that literally just opened?
I'm completely fine with one party per bucket. I prefer one party per bucket anyway. It's awkward when you're sitting there with, a party that's not with you.
Yeah, because you feel like if you talk, you're like bothering them.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. No, because you can't like carry a conversation. Like if you're in there with friends or family or whatever, you're just kind of like,
wishing the automatic spiels would go a lot faster.
Right. Yeah, I've only ever been on the Skyliner like twice. And it was the last time I was in Orlando, and I rode in there with my party and another party, and I felt like we were bothering them so much because we were just like talking, having fun. So yeah, I think one party per bucket will be nice.
Yes.
Okay. Last thing.
There's no more.
Yeah, there's one more. This one was a surprise. Universal Beijing Resort releases new details about their City Walk opening in 2021.
Yep.
And it looks killer. It looks really, really cool. So this will be their city walk. It will be the entertainment, dining, shopping hub for the resort. It'll be located at the main entrance of Universal Studios Beijing and will connect the theme park, parking facilities, and subway entrances to the resort, and will feature new concepts that will make their first debut, as well as some familiar locations from the Orlando resort.
Yes.
So you'll get 24 venues, so that's shopping or dining, including a multiplex cinema, 15 food and beverage locations that feature both Western and Asian cuisines, 8 retail stores, and 11 retail food and beverage carts. So that's a ton of stuff. And a few highlights, they're going to have a City Walk Red Oven Pizza Bakery. Let's see. A Cutie Cones ice cream joint. They didn't give us pictures for that one. Southeast Asian street style neon street hawkers, which looks very cool. I don't know if that's related to the hawkers that's in like Orlando and St. Pete, or if that's different. And a new place called City Walk Wu Bei Craft Food and Beer, which is a craft beer restaurant combined with more traditional Chinese sights, sounds, and tastes that will offer live music in the evenings.
Mm-hmm.
They will also have Cowfish and Toothsome, and the largest commercial IMAX screen in Beijing at their Cineplex with IMAX with laser, which will be cool. And the theater will be specially designed to host premieres and VIP events, and is the largest commercial IMAX laser theater.
Okay. Did you mention Red Oven?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I did. Yeah. Red Oven Cowfish from Universal Orlando will be there, making their first ever non-US debut. And
then Toothsomes is cool. It's cool to see Toothsomes being put at other places.
Yeah, it looks just like the Orlando one, giant, huge, and they're going to have Penelope and the robot whose name
Jacques.
Yes, Jacques. They will both be visible there.
That's awesome.
So that's cool. But it looks really, really cool. That park is going to be insane when it opens.
I can't wait. Like, hopefully, maybe one day I'll get to go out there. But yeah, that Beijing looks like it's going to be a really good park, especially with a lot of stuff they're doing. They're going to have a Hulk clone that's Transformers themed, a Jurassic World section with like new rides you haven't seen anywhere. It's
the Water World.
They're gonna freaking Water World. Like I can't wait. I seriously can't wait for this.
And Universal was so confident about getting it open on time, despite everything going on in the world. Literally every news earnings call that I listened to, it was always like, we are on time. We are still under construction. We are still going to open 2021. So I'm really excited to see the work that they've done and see how it is received.
Exactly. All right. Well, is that it for the news?
That's it.
All right. A lot of news, and it's probably going to be like that every week now. But at this point, it is time to jump into the main attraction for this week. And there is a comment that I wanted to pull up. Coaster Adventures was saying, question for both of us, what's our opinion on the safety procedures at Six Flags and Universal Orlando? Well, it just so happens I did go to Universal Orlando this past week for the reopening, so I can talk about this. If you guys have any questions, please put them in the chat. I'll kind of do this by question and answer instead of just giving you a whole story. Just let me know what you want to hear about the reopening, and I'll talk about it. So, Brittany, if you have a question, we'll start off with you.
Okay. Well, kind of take me through your, I guess the first experience once you get to the park. How is parking handled? How is security handled? What was the screening test like? How do they check for masks? How do they enforce that? Getting into City Walk, what was that like?
So getting in was probably the worst part of the whole experience, but not horribly bad worst, just like the downside of the whole day, only because it was the first day for the annual pass previews. Everyone was there trying to get there immediately at the beginning of the day. So the parking was not an issue at all. Went right up to the parking toll booth, did the whole thing, parked immediately, and they're parking cars with one space in between, so they're parking separately. But then when I got to the line for the temperature screening, the line was zigging and zagging throughout the entire area of the parking garage where the moving sidewalks are. And it was long. But the good thing was it moved. So if we stopped, we were stopping for barely less than 10 seconds, and then we're moving again. No matter, even though it was a long line, I got through it in 10 minutes. So it was great in terms of that. The not great part was guests were not socially distancing themselves. And that's because the extended line did not have markers on the ground. So no one seemed to care to follow the 6 feet rule, which that's something that is on the guests. Guests are going to need to, make sure that they try their best to social distance themselves when there are no markers. That's, that's up to the guests. I was doing my best, but the people around me were not.
Or did you have to get on and be like, hey, you're too close to me?
I was not about to do that because, tensions were already high because of the long line. But I've seen from since they actually reopened to the guests, regular guests, that this has not really been an issue.
Well, that's good.
And so that's great. And in the process of getting your temperature screens, the first thing you do, very quick and simple, because once you get closer to them, then they do have markers on the ground for you to stand on to be distant from each other. All you do is, you wait for one of the team members to wave you over. You walk up, they hold this little temperature thing to your forehead, 3 seconds, boom, you're cleared, go. And that's where they really check also for masks. If you're not wearing a mask, you cannot get past that point.
When you visit the park and you're like actually in, do they have team members kind of roaming around? Are team members telling you to be socially distant? Because in a live stream that I saw, there were a few people that had their masks like down here, like they had pulled them down, or they weren't wearing them at all. So they probably just put it on to get in and then took it right off.
I didn't see roaming team members. The only roaming team members I saw were ones that were kind of helping guests out with the virtual line, because a lot of the attractions were only virtual line. You can only do it via virtual line. You just couldn't wait in a standby queue. So there were a lot of team members roaming around helping guests figure out how to join the virtual lines. But in terms of the day I was there, everyone was following the mask rule to a T. There were maybe 2 or 3 people that I saw. I didn't even see without the mask on. I heard a team member saying, "Hey, please put your mask on." I heard that about 3 times during the day. One was because someone was actively not drinking the thing they had, so they're like, "Please put it on until you need to take a drink." And then the others were someone was walking without a mask on. A team member said, "Please put your mask on," and they put the mask on. And then the third one, someone didn't have a mask when we were in the line to go meet Blue at Jurassic World. And the team member was like, "Can you please put your mask on?" She held up her hand and she had a wristband on, and the team member goes, "Oh, okay, you're good." And what I found out was the wristband means they are medically cleared to not have to wear a mask, because they have medical issues that negate them wearing a mask. They can't wear them.
I'm glad that team members are being active in enforcing that rule, because I know, like, having been a cast member before, it's hard to enforce the rules. It's hard to tell people what to do and be assertive, but I'm glad that they're doing it, and I'm glad people are listening.
Yeah. And it could have also been because that was an annual pass holder day. Everyone was annual pass holders, so they were being on their best behavior.
Yeah.
I'm not sure how things are going to be with the regular day guests. I am going tomorrow, so I'll let you know if I see or hear anything different with your normal guests. But I was very encouraged with what I saw on on Thursday. Yeah.
Did you get to do any virtual line attractions while you were there?
I did do some virtual line stuff. So I did. The only one available when I first got there was Jimmy Fallon. So I went ahead and did it because I wanted to see how things were for a 3D show, for a 3D ride. I was able to sign up through the app and was able to get on in 10 minutes. And, things were, pretty normal. They were still, interestingly enough, they were still handing out colored cards for your boarding group on Jimmy Fallon, but it looked like they were very well sanitized. The socially distant markers I did not see until you get into the actual line past the waiting area. If you know the layout of the Jimmy Fallon queue, there's a waiting area where the stage is. Once you get past there, then you see the markers on the ground, and they were only loading every other row. So, in fact, I've got a photo that I can share right now. I'm going to pull it up for those watching our YouTube live stream. I'm showing some photos. So this is how it was in Fallon. They were loading every other row, and there were 3 seats between each party.
That's very spacious. Yeah,
it was very, very spacious. So, and that's how it was on, every ride that I went on, because I went on that, I went on Mummy, and I went on Kong, and I went on Spider-Man, and every ride was loading every other row, and it was one party. Fallon, they're long lines, so you could probably get 2 parties in one row, but with Spider-Man and with Kong and with Mummy, it was one party per every other row.
How was the actual, getting the virtual queue spot? What was that like?
That was one of the issues that I had that day. It wasn't working as well as I was hoping it would. It seemed like, and I'm not sure if this is going to be a daily occurrence, but it seemed like they were dropping new times every 30 minutes. So the time frames for the virtual queue are 30-minute lengths. So from top of the hour to the bottom of the hour, or bottom of the hour to the top of the hour, they're in 30-minute increments. It seemed like they would drop new times 10 minutes before each slot. So at like 11:50, they would drop more slots for the rest of the day. And then at 12:20, 50, 20, 50, so on and so forth. At least that's how it looked like the day I was there. I'm not sure if that is a fact, if that's how they are doing it, but that's how I was able to get more rides. I was waiting for the 50 or the 20. I'd open the app up, and hey, more times just became available. So boom, I would sign up for Mummy. I was having issues with Kong. It took me 3 different times to finally get one to stick with Kong. Every time I would select it, they would give me an error, and then I'd miss the window, and it would run out, and I have to wait another 30 minutes. But I think they got that kink worked out. It's because I was able to get one. But yeah, it's interesting. It really is interesting. The signing up for the virtual queue, but I will say the process of loading and how quick the queues actually move I was shocked by it, because it sounds very clickbaity. You're going to be shocked by number 4. When I rode Revenge of the Mummy, and it was virtual queue only. So there was no standby queue. It was only virtual queue could go in. I was in from the 12 to 12:30 group, and I got in line outside at about 11:55, and then they let in the group that was there for 12 to 12:30 into the queue. When I went into the queue, the line was backed up all the way there to the entrance. Of course, remember there are markers the entire queue, so that is with 6 feet increments between people, but it was backed up to the entrance. Took me 10 minutes to get from the entrance to loading onto the ride, even though it was backed up all the way to the entrance. So it's moving quick. It is moving very quick.
Sounds so efficient. Yeah.
Especially because they're only loading every other row, and maybe 2 or 3 groups. That's it. So they're being very efficient with the loading and unloading.
That's great, because I know that was one of our major concerns, like lines going throughout the park, because they're staggering loads, and that takes longer to get through the line and everything. So you can, just to clarify, you can only get a virtual line spot for rides that are in the park that you are currently in.
Nope, I was able to get Kong from studios.
Huh?
As long as you're on
opposite.
And I think you can even sign up when you're walking through City Walk, because as long as you're on property, you can grab yourself a virtual queue.
Cool. And then you can only have 1 at a time?
2. You can have 2 at a time. You're not able to sign up for more than 2 at one time. Once one of those is gone, then you can sign up for the next one, and so forth and so forth.
Gotcha.
I'm just trying to go through the chat and see if anyone is asking any other questions. But no, I was very happy with the virtual queue. And also, while I'm thinking about it, every ride that I went on, before you would load the vehicle, they had team members with sanitizer actively giving you sanitizer so you can get your hands clean before you sit down and grab the bar to pull down.
That's great.
Every ride is doing that.
That's awesome and necessary, I think.
Exactly.
Because you can't expect every single guest to carry a little thing of hand sanitizer on them. And you don't want to crowd exits and entryways by just having a single dispenser out. So I think that that's probably the best way to go about it.
Exactly.
What about character meet and greets? Did you do any of that while you were there? I,
in fact, did do some of that. I will bring up my photos here again. My vacation slideshow, guys. So I went to Despicable Me characters were out on their parade float outside the entrance, so you could, while you're waiting in line or walking up, you can get a photo with them. I went to go see. I didn't expect to see some of the shows still going, because I know some things like the horror makeup show did not have any show times, but some of the outdoor shows like Beat Builders and Blues Brothers were performing, and I was not expecting that. So I walked up and saw the Blues Brothers, and you can see on the ground right there, they have markers for people to stand on so they can watch the show and keep distant from each other.
That's awesome. I'm so glad that they're doing that, because it's hard enough with the lines and the cues, but to expect people to do that themselves with shows is a little tricky. Mm-hmm. So that extra guidance is always welcomed.
Exactly. And I think they had these, from what I saw, they had these for Blues Brothers, Beat Builders, and the shows that they do on the stage at Hogsmeade. So like the Frog Choir and the Tri-Wizard Rally, those also had the spatial markers. And of course, you can get your socially distant selfies like with the Blues Brothers. Scooby Gang, which are wearing masks. I was not expecting to see face characters wearing masks.
That was blew a shock. My mind. I was so shocked.
And then they, like, Fred even like drove up in the van. So, they're doing their best to, keep people entertained and see the characters. Some characters are up on roofs, like at Islands of Adventure. I saw Kung Fu Panda, like in the port of entry up on one of the bridges above the crowd there. And then of course I had to go see my girl Blue in her new enclosure, because she has a brand new Raptor Encounter enclosure, a brand new permanent enclosure, which is thematically a little off because the land is Jurassic Park, but once you step into the line for the Raptor Encounter, you're now in Jurassic World. So it's a little interesting. It makes me wonder if they're planning on revamping the whole land into World, especially with the new Velocicoaster that's coming.
Coming, but not announced yet.
Not officially coming. But the main reason I also wanted to go see Blue is because Blue is now meeting with Sierra.
Baby.
And Sierra is the 6-month-old baby Velociraptor. And she is just so adorable. And she makes noises and everything.
I hold Brody like that.
That's how you hold your dog?
Yeah. He's about that big. He's a little chonker, but it's so cute.
Yeah, so it was fun to get to see some of the characters, and since no one gets to do autographs, it's just a quick selfie, click, done, boom.
That's good though. That's great. One thing I saw in one of the live streams I watched is that the Frog Choir in Hogsmeade, they sing and perform with masks on, which I was like, is that counterproductive to the singing? But
I'm not sure, because the Blues Brothers, they didn't have masks on.
No, I literally saw this with my eyeballs. Like they were singing with masks on. Because Josh and I were like, that's weird.
I'm trying to think. Let me look real quick, because I don't have it open, but I'm going to pull up my photos because I'm trying to remember if the Tri-Wizard Rally, if they had masks on or not. What I have is... Yes, it's a video. I can't pull it up, but the Tri-Wizard Rally, they don't sing, but everyone is wearing a mask in that show.
The masks for Potter are themed like to their costumes.
Yeah, they're color coordinated.
Cool. Yeah, the Hagrid's ones, I think, are the best looking coordination wise to their costumes.
Yes, and Jeffrey in our YouTube live chat, Marilyn, and I did see Marilyn Monroe. Yeah, she was not wearing a mask during her meet and greet. Betty Boop was not wearing a mask either when I passed by. I've seen photos of Beetlejuice without a mask, and I've seen some of him with a mask, so I don't know if that's... I don't know what's going on with that. But I'm curious if maybe the reason why Marilyn is not wearing a mask is maybe it's a rights issue because she is a real person. So maybe they are not allowed to physically or, alter her look.
Yeah. I don't know.
I'm not sure. But someone, Amusement Labs was asking, what is Velocicoaster? This is a rumor. I mean, it's not really a rumor. It's all but freaking confirmed by Universal by now. But you've probably seen photos, especially on our website. They're building a roller coaster at Jurassic Park. It's supposed to be themed to the Velociraptor. It's supposed to be Jurassic World themed. And it's kind of been dubbed the Velocicoaster.
Universal coined that. They patented that name.
Well, there you go. So that might be the official name. But they are building a coaster out there. Well, I'll take some updated photos when I go tomorrow. But it is a coaster that is happening. But if you ask Universal, who? That's what they'll say.
Yeah, everyone calls it the Velocicoaster. I believe last year or late 2018, they filed a construction permit under the name Velocicoaster. So that's why everybody calls it that.
Labs says he is being facetious.
That's what I thought you were doing.
It's hard to see sarcasm in a text. I apologize. So yeah, all in all, like I was very, very happy with everything that I saw safety wise at Universal. Universal has done their damnedest to keep people safe, and it really is going to be up to the guests to abide by everything and keep the masks on and keep socially distant from each other, because what Universal has set forth is, I think, the shining example for all other theme parks to go by.
Yeah.
Especially because they also have these U-Rest zones. There's one at City Walk and there's one at Studios and Islands where you can go and sit down in a safe area and take your mask off for however long you want, as long as you're in that area. It's a great way to kind of rest and get the mask off your face for a little bit.
Well, yes, that's another thing. What was that like being at the park? How long were you there? How long did you have the mask on? And how did you feel by the time you were like done for the day?
So let me pull up. I'm going to pull up my photos again here because the mask thing.
Because you shaved the beard.
I did shave the beard because when I wore a mask out to Gatorland, I had my full beard and it was very, very uncomfortable. So I was like, I need to shave this down again, and I'm happy I did. I wore the mask the entire day. I did not go to a U-Rest zone and take it off. I kept it on the entire time because I wanted to feel what it was like. As someone who wears glasses, it's hard because it's hard to adjust your mask in a way where your breath doesn't go up past your nose and fog your glasses up every freaking 5 seconds.
Yep.
I've never once thought of wearing contacts until this day. And because I don't really want contacts, but it was like, oh, this is bad. But I eventually found a sweet spot between my mask on my nose and my glasses that I was able to comfortably breathe and not have the glasses fog up. After a little bit, it did start feeling hot underneath around my mouth and nose and chin. Every time I breathe, you could feel the heat, but it wasn't uncomfortable. Like I was after toward the end of the day, it was just second nature. Like I didn't even realize I was wearing a mask at some point. I was just enjoying the day. Obviously, this is not going to apply to everyone is going to have their own level of comfort with a mask, and I completely understand that. That's why I'm glad Universal has these U-Rest zones for you to be able to sit down and take your mask off for a little bit and get a breather. And Disney has said that they're interested in setting up zones like that at their parks as well. So, everyone's opinion on masks, and if you see our article, there are opinions. And everyone's level of comfort will be different. It will vary. So what I say in terms of my experience wearing a mask will not apply to everyone. It's your experience may vary, basically. Mm-hmm. But I was very happy because it's hard for me to find masks that really fit comfortably on my face. I've got a big head. So normal size masks don't really fit me very well. The ones they sell there at Universal fit me perfectly. And I'll pull up this photo right here. These are the masks, the 3 theme masks they have available. So the annual pass holder one, I love is Universal one, and the one with the Universal Studios globe on it. And They have medium and large. They're $6, or you can buy all three for 15. And if the large one fits me, great. It's very comfortable. I really enjoy it, and I'll be wearing it more often, especially tomorrow when I go out there. So, it is going to take some time to get used to it. Believe me, it will. But you'll get used to it, and it'll be fine.
Would you suggest, because I've seen some theme park people say to bring disposable masks in addition to your cloth mask to kind of switch out throughout the day? Is that something you would recommend too?
Yeah, I would recommend it because it's summer in Florida. It's humid. You're gonna get sweaty. I got sweaty. Like I could feel the bottom of my mask getting a little damp toward the end of the day. It's going to happen. So it may be a good idea to bring disposable masks, maybe one or two in case you get a little too sweaty, or if you're going to ride something that you might get wet on. Although I will say, I didn't ride them, but Jurassic Park, Popeye, and Dudley Do-Right, you are not required to wear a mask on those rides because of how wet you get. You can take them off for those rides. You can still wear them if you so wish, but you're not required to wear them. So, keep that in mind. But yeah, it's going to be a miserable summer. It's going to be a miserable summer.
I mean, we went out, we had to go get Brody something from the Pet Smart, and I had on my mask. I was just like, I'm just going to run in and run out. And one of the masks that I have, it's got it's sturdy fabric, but there's no filter in it. It's just cloth. And it was like 80 some degrees out, and I was out of the car for maybe 20 minutes with the mask on. And I was like, okay, this is too much. I'm like claustrophobic inside of this thing. So I can't imagine what being at a theme park for 12 hours a day is going to be like. Wearing a mask. I think those U-rest zones and the relaxation zones, as Disney called them, if they decide to do them, will be super, super crucial to maintaining that level of comfort and keeping people from just passing out from the heat.
Right. Kevin in our YouTube live stream chat asks if you have to wear a mask on Rip Ride and Hulk. Yes, they are still required on those rides. Even though those rides go fast, they are still required. Only the water rides are they not required because you could get them soaked.
They probably
it's interesting.
They probably did tons of tests with people riding it with the masks on.
I foresee some people's masks probably flying off on that thing, which I guess it's a testament of you need to make sure you have a mask that is comfortably fitting on you, but not too loose.
Yep.
Because if your mask is really loose because you don't want it to be uncomfortable, it'll fly right off on those rides. But if you have a nice comfortable mask that is perfectly proportioned and tightened, they'll be fine on the ride.
Yeah, maybe if you have ones with like the cloth straps and they're not adjustable, because the mask I have has like elastic ear pieces, you can tighten them. Maybe just like tie a little knot in them or something. But I think gravity should work with you on those rides, so it won't fly off.
And I rode Mummy, and Mummy's not as fast as Rocket or Hulk, but I think it gets up to around 40 or something miles an hour. And I had no fear or any feeling that my mask was getting ready to fly off. I mean, I wear my glasses on these rides too. They don't really fly off. Haven't yet. So I think, the masks are going to be fine. Amusement Labs. Yes, masked tan lions are going to be the thing this fall.
Yikes. As a person who wears makeup, though, it's great for me because then I just have to do like this part of my face and I don't have to do anything else.
Real quick. I also wanted, because as I was laughing, I leaned back and realized today, as the day we're recording this, is the 30th anniversary of Universal Orlando. June 7th, 1990 is when Universal Studios Florida first opened, and they do have a line of 30th anniversary merchandise that I freaking love. It's retro, featuring the old logo, and I'm wearing the shirt right now.
It's such good merch, and it's just old merch. It shows how good their classic stuff was.
There's some that's like in neon coloring, like a fanny pack, and it's just I love it so much. And so happy anniversary to Universal. Tomorrow I'm going out there because they're releasing a new annual pass holder magnet that's very retro looking. So I'm going to grab one of those. So yeah, that was my day at Universal. I'm interested to see how it goes tomorrow with regular guests and how that process works. And I'll take a lap around the parks, get some photos of the Velocicoaster construction, and we'll see what happens.
I look forward to your coverage. See what a normal day is like, I guess, if you can still call it that.
Yeah, this is the new normal. We're gonna get used to this for a long time.
Yep.
All right. Well, at this point, we're gonna do we've been doing Q&A in the chat basically this whole main
pretty
attraction.
much.
So we're just gonna go ahead because we're already running over an hour here. So let's jump right into our shout outs here. So guys, I'm confusing my shows. No, my shout outs are for Early Night Live on Wednesdays. At this point,
live TV, everybody.
Live. At this point, it is actually time to end the podcast. So, Brittany, where can everyone find you on the interwebs?
You can find me at Brittany Tuttle. That's BritTaniTuttle. Yes, it's spelled funny, on Twitter and Instagram, and twitch.tv/BritPlays when I play games there.
Yes.
Yes. Game.
Yes.
That's all I do now.
You can find me on Twitter at Banksley, on Instagram at Disney Goofball, and of course all of the Attractions Magazine socials: Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, and of course attractionsmagazine.com. Next week, I'm not sure how the podcast is going to work next week because I'm be on the road next Sunday. I'll be staying at a hotel in South Carolina. I'm on my way up to Virginia next Sunday night. So I'm not sure if I'm going to be. We're going to figure it out.
Yeah.
Maybe we're going to record the podcast late on Monday instead, or maybe we will do it early on. We'll figure it out. We will figure it out, but we'll have a podcast next week. I'm just not sure yet if it's going to be on Sunday night or maybe on Monday. Okay. We'll let you guys know for sure. And please, again, tune in to this Thursday's episode of the Attraction Show as we say goodbye to our 10-year run. It's been a journey. It's been a fantastic journey. I wouldn't trade any of it in for the world. I'm having such a blast editing the highlight reel, and I hope you guys enjoy seeing everything that we have been putting out there for you guys. And we'll be back. Different, but we will be back. So we'll see you next season for sure. And until next week on the Attractions Podcast, we want to make sure that you go out there, stay safe, but have fun as well.
Thanks so much for listening, everybody.
Boom. All right. Yes, Figment is going to be a glass case of emotion on Thursday. Peter, I see you keep asking me this.
We don't know.
We don't know. SpongeBob musical, I don't know.
I would imagine
we don't really cover that. So
yeah. Kevin's asking about a Universal Magic Band.
I don't think there's ever going to be a Universal Magic Band.
Yeah, I think Tapu Tapu is like the extent of it, but I don't know if that would make its way to the actual theme parks.
Right. Also, real quick here, I need to chastise Alfred in the chat here. You need to be nicer, please. What you were writing to Greg was very rude. We don't stand for that in here. So please keep things civil. Okay. Speaking of Greg, because he was mentioning, he has an article. My friend Greg, I've known him for years. He wrote his first article for the website. So if you guys want to go, please go check it out over at attractionsmagazine.com. Read his article. It's some great stories about his past visiting the theme parks and lessons that he has learned. So please go check it out. I'm sure you can search for Greg's name in our search bar to see that.
Yep.
So other than that, thank you guys for joining us for the live stream tonight. Like I said, we're going to figure it out next week, maybe on Monday. We will let you guys know. But until then, like I said, have safe, be safe, have fun, and be your best.
That's some great advice, Banks.
I'm a prophet.